bridge, please scan the QR code. First the one with the Wi-Fi and then the one with the audio guide. And then you can listen to your own smartphone at your ear or with a headset, please, not on speakers. Yes?
There are two at the front of the boat, one to the left and one to the right, and another through the hatch door in the roof. This is a non-smoking cruise.
When you exit the boat, please check and double check.
Welcome to Amsterdam, capital city of the Netherlands. What better way to experience this compact and very international city than from the unique perspective of its waterways? There certainly are a lot of them. This city has over 100 kilometers of canal. Amsterdam is known for being friendly, open-minded, and progressive. It's a popular place to visit and do business. Just think, in a population of only 800,000 people, you can meet 170 different nationalities. Amsterdam is built on 3 artificial islands and is supported by around 8,600 wooden piles. The building was designed by 2 architects, Kuipers and Van Gent, and its front is really quite amazing. Made of red brick and white accents, it's a combination of Neo-Renaissance style and Neo-Gothic towers, and is called eclectical architecture.
Yeah, so there are around 12,000 bikes that left around the central station on a daily basis. And we had a 3-storage bicycle flat, but it wasn't big enough. So now they made a parking garage for bikes under the central station. That's why you can see people walking in and out with their bikes. And after the bridge on the right hand side, you can see the 3-storage bicycle flats.
Transportation in Amsterdam would be complete without mentioning bicycles. You've probably figured out that they're Amsterdammers' favorite mode of transport. All around Central Station are places to park, from a huge multi-level bike parking area to a converted ferry filled to capacity with bikes. More people bike than drive to work, and it's estimated that the city has around 1.6 million bikes. That's more bikes than people. In typical Dutch style, the bikes are very practical. Single-speed coasters with foot brakes, sometimes with a crate in front for carrying everything under the sun, including children. In Amsterdam, expect to see everyone from the sophisticated business executive to the harried mother of 3, pumping away on a 2-wheeler.
These long, flat tourist boats sail to the east, to the Rhine River in Germany. You can also frequently see huge cruise ships in Amsterdam's harbor. They come from all over the world, entering the harbor through the North Sea Canal.
Building, which is the Eiffel Museum of Amsterdam. Next to that you can see the Overhoek's Tower. It's in Amsterdam North, and it used to be the headquarters of Shell. That's why it has a drill on top. But nowadays it's a very nice viewing point, and also you can swing there with your feet over the edge.
Grow.
That's the swinging thing. It's the swinging thing. Like if you're, I think so. There's like a bar. Yeah, I think there's a swimming pool up there, on the top.
The square building up ahead is the Muziekgebouw, a concert hall for 21st century contemporary music, which
is NEMO, the Children's Center for Science and Technology. With lots of interactive exhibits, it's a popular place for families. As much as it looks the depth of the tunnel, NEMO gets its green color from the oxidated copper that covers its walls. There's a unique sand-filled terrace on the roof where you'll find sunbathers searching for rays while enjoying beautiful views of the harbor and the city. Cruise ships from all over the world dock here by the big cruise ships help to bolster the economy.
Swords, one side and the other side, and they have the same function as the keel.
A replica of a trade ship called the Amsterdam is now docked outside the museum, giving insight into just how small and cramped sailing conditions were.
The building was renovated and reopened in 2011. A beautiful domed glass roof was installed over the spacious inner courtyard. The roof is shaped like a compass rose, and during the day you can look up and see lines like those on an old map. After dark,
That are protecting us, but they're still in function. A couple of days a week they close almost all of them, leave 2 open, and they flush the water from the rivers through the canals, and this way they keep the canals clean.
It began as a modest medicinal herb garden and grew substantially during the Golden Age, as Dutch explorers traveled to the East and West Indies and other faraway places. They brought back exotic plants and seeds, including the tulip, the potato, and tobacco, all of which are now considered common. The Botanical Gardens collection has grown to contain thousands of specimens, from the common to the very found refuge in Amsterdam. The 17th century brought a second wave of Jewish immigrants. This time they came from Central and Eastern Europe, and most were very poor. They were attracted by good work prospects and the freedom to practice their religion. Before long, Amsterdam had the largest Jewish population in Europe.
the Magere Brug, otherwise referred to as the famous Skinny Bridge, stretches all the way across the Amstel River. Of Amsterdam's 1,500 or so bridges, this is the most famous. It dates back to the 7th that whoever you kiss while passing under the bridge will be your true love for life.
So this is in the middle of the Amstel River, is the Skinny Bridge. It's really nice. You're just a little bit too early. In an hour it is littered with 1,000 lights, which is really nice and pretty to see.
This is the one.
And later it became Amsterdam. You're so beautiful.
We're now on Herengracht, or the Gentleman's Canal. It was part of a careful plan to expand the city. In the early 17th century, a time of tremendous physical and economic growth, 3 new canals were laid out in concentric rings. The Herengracht was innermost. The Kaisersgracht, or Emperor's Canal, was in the middle, followed by the Prinzengracht, or the Prince's Canal.
The wealthiest citizens, shipbuilders, merchants, investors, and politicians built elegant mansions on the Herrengracht. The Kaisersgracht was solidly middle class, while the Prinzengracht had a more industrial atmosphere. Of the three canals, the Prinzengracht was the only one that connected directly to the harbor, and its low sides were designed for loading and unloading cargo.
And so, the farther you lived from the city center, the lower your social class. Today, this would no longer hold true. All of the city center is expensive.
It's really huge. Millions. I bet it's millions. Oh, look at that.
Europe. Dutch traders sailed farther than anyone else, to newly discovered lands in the Far East and to North and South America. They organized into companies like the Dutch East Indian Company and the
Of even more space, and single lot houses would often have a fake door on the side of the entryway to make them appear bigger than they were.
Rooms were richly decorated with painted wallpaper, oil paintings, fine sculptures, and exotics such as Turkish rugs and Persian silks. In the second half of the 17th century, Parisian furniture, Louis XVI style, was very much in vogue.
As a gentleman, you might join your host in a deep-colored smoking room. A lady, your hostess would receive you in a light blue salon or tea room. Here, you'd sip imported tea from China while looking out over a beautifully manicured garden. No one ever sat in the gardens. It had ruined their fashionable white skin. Musical concerts and grand parties were common, and each house had many rooms dedicated to entertaining. For a first-hand glimpse of life inside an opulent canal house, there are two wonderful, the Hilvinkenlopenhaus and the Village Holthausen.
Step gable looks just as you'd expect, a series of steps. The neck gable, with its straight up and down sides and scrollwork decorations, came a bit later, followed by the bell gable, which has a more rounded, bell-like shape. By the 18th century, the cornice, a flat-top gable, was most popular.
There's one thing that all gables have in common: the hoisting beam. Staircases were so narrow and steep that furniture and goods were lifted to the upper floors via the hoisting beam, along with a good strong rope, a hook, and a pulley. Goods were generally stored up high to keep them dry during the city's frequent floods. There's a strong tradition of moving things this way, as even newly constructed houses have narrow stairways and are still equipped with hoisting beams.
Until the 18th century, house numbers didn't exist in Amsterdam. Instead, people relied on gable stones. These carved and sometimes colorfully painted stones were set into a house's facade, often above the door. Bricks could be made locally. They were very porous compared to bricks of today.
An Italian relative who had left him a sizable inheritance. The facade has two inscribed panels that reflect Bartolotti's and many other 17th century businessmen's values. They read, through talents and diligence, and through piousness and virtue.
Calvinism is a form of Christianity that emphasizes strict living and industriousness. The rich found themselves in conflict. Their religion required them to be humble, yet with so much wealth, how could they not show it off? Often they ended up quietly trying to outdo each other.
I saw that. Nobody lives there. There's a garden in there. Yeah. That's crazy.
buildings have facades made of non-flammable brick or stone. But all older buildings were still made of wood, and Amsterdam experienced one of its biggest fires even though reinforced concrete is used for new construction, many of the older houses still have their original wooden skeletons.
This took them about 8 months and they're not finished yet, so I think in another 25 years they're done, maybe longer. Yeah, the problem is they built the canals and after that they didn't do much maintenance about it. But they were built for horse and carriage, and nowadays trucks, cars and everything comes over it, so that's not really what they built for. Another thing is that they have to suffer. There's like a little river crab. It's an exote, it doesn't come from our country, it doesn't have an enemy. It came with boats probably from
Border of the city. With its arched bridges, many houseboats and beautiful architecture, it's now one of
more pleasant. And look, we are now on the Single, passing through locks that were originally built to regulate Amsterdam's water levels and to keep the city from flooding at high tide. Nowadays, locks and dams further out have
Yeah, because it will light up.